The Stellaris, a vessel of the Lumina Collective, drifted through the ethereal expanse of the Xantus Nebula. This region, a swirling tapestry of cosmic gases and nascent stars, was a frontier of scientific exploration, a realm where the Lumina sought to expand their understanding of the universe. The ship, a marvel of bioengineered technology, pulsed with a gentle, internal luminescence, its latticework hull shimmering with the soft, living light that defined Lumina engineering. The crew, a diverse collective of energy beings, crystalline entities, and organic lifeforms, moved with an almost balletic grace, their actions guided by the ship's intuitive, symbiotic interface. Captain Lyra Kael, a being of serene composure and profound intellect, stood on the bridge, her luminous form casting a gentle glow across the control panels. Her mind, a finely tuned instrument of logic and empathy, processed the sensor readings, analyzing the nebula's intricate structures and energy signatures. The Stellaris was on a mission to map the uncharted outer rim of the nebula, a region known for its unpredictable energy fluctuations and anomalous stellar formations. This task, while inherently challenging, was vital for the Lumina Collective, a young civilization driven by a relentless thirst for knowledge and a desire to connect with other sentient life. The Lumina Collective, a civilization barely a few centuries old, was a beacon of harmony in the vast, often turbulent, galactic landscape. Their philosophy, rooted in the principles of interconnectedness and mutual respect, guided their interactions with other species. They were explorers, diplomats, and scientists, not conquerors or warriors. Their ships, like the Stellaris, were designed for research and communication, not for combat. Their technology, a blend of organic and energy-based systems, reflected their deep understanding of the universe's delicate balance. Suddenly, a discordant shriek, a jarring anomaly in the ship's harmonious symphony, tore through the bridge. The gentle hum of the Stellaris's internal systems faltered, replaced by an unsettling, pulsating resonance. The navigation console, usually a calm display of stellar charts and sensor readings, flickered erratically, displaying an unfamiliar glyph, a jagged obsidian shard, its edges sharp and menacing, encased in a swirling violet aura. This symbol, radiating an aura of cold, unyielding power, was the unmistakable mark of the Obsidian Covenant. A wave of unease swept through the bridge. Xyler, Lyra's first officer, a hulking crystalline being whose form emitted a low, worried hum, approached the console. "Captain," he rumbled, his voice a deep, resonant echo. "Sector-wide alert. The Covenant's signal. We're being summoned." The Obsidian Covenant was a name whispered with a mix of awe and dread throughout the galactic community. They were an ancient, technologically advanced species, shrouded in mystery and known for their unwavering adherence to ancient, often brutal, laws. They were reclusive, rarely venturing beyond their self-imposed borders, and their interactions with other species were marked by an uncompromising sense of authority. Their technology, based on the manipulation of obsidian and violet energy, was both formidable and enigmatic. Lyra's usually calm features were etched with a sudden, sharp anxiety. The Covenant's summons was an unprecedented event, a stark departure from their usual isolation. The Lumina Collective had never had direct contact with the Covenant, and the implications of this summons were deeply unsettling. "Play the message," Lyra commanded, her voice barely a breath, yet carrying the weight of her authority. The main view screen, a vast expanse of shimmering energy, dissolved into a swirling vortex of violet light, coalescing into the visage of a being unlike any Lyra had ever encountered. Its form was an intricate lattice of obsidian shards, shifting and reforming, its eyes, glowing violet pinpoints, fixed on her with an unnerving intensity. The being's voice, a deep, crystalline echo, resonated through the bridge, carrying an air of ancient power and unwavering resolve. "Captain Lyra Kael of the Lumina vessel Stellaris." The being's voice echoed, each syllable resonating with a cold, precise cadence. "The Obsidian Covenant summons you to the Tribunal of Shards. You are accused of transgressing the sacred zones, and of unauthorized exploration within the Veil of Shadows. You will proceed immediately to the tribunal coordinates. Refusal equates to culpability." The screen went dark, leaving the bridge in a stunned silence. The message, delivered with an air of absolute certainty, carried an implicit threat, a chilling reminder of the Covenant's reputation for uncompromising justice. Sacred zones? Xyler rumbled, his crystalline body emitting a low, worried hum. The Veil of Shadows? We were nowhere near. We were exploring the nebula's outer rim. Lyra finished, her mind racing, analyzing the Covenant's accusations. But the Covenant, they're notoriously territorial. They consider vast regions of space as their own, even those seemingly devoid of life. Zephyr, the navigation officer, a nimble, energy-based entity whose form flickered with nervous energy, reported. Coordinates plotted, Captain? 3 standard cycles. Deep into Covenant space. The Tribunal of Shards, the destination indicated by the Covenant, was a place of legend, a nexus of ancient power and unyielding judgment. No Lumina vessel had ever ventured into Covenant territory, and the prospect of facing their judgment was deeply unsettling. Lyra contacted the Lumina High Council, the governing body of the Lumina Collective, seeking guidance and counsel. Admiral Valerius, a being of pure light and wisdom, appeared on the view screen, his form radiating a calming aura. Lyra, we've received the Covenant's summons, Valerius said, his voice a gentle resonance. This is unprecedented. The Covenant has remained isolated for millennia, rarely interacting with other species. Their summons is a significant development. Orders, Admiral? Lyra asked, her voice steady despite the apprehension swirling within her. Officially, comply. Maintain diplomatic protocols, Valerius instructed. We must respect the Covenant's summons, however unsettling it may be. Unofficially, we need to understand the Covenant. They've remained isolated for millennia. We know almost nothing of their technology, their laws, their capabilities. This is a chance, however dangerous, to learn. To observe. To understand. You want us to gather intelligence? Lyra asked, her luminous form casting a thoughtful glow. Survive, Lyra, Valerius replied, his voice carrying a weight of concern. And bring back whatever you can. The Lumina Collective needs to know what we're facing. The Covenant's summons could be a prelude to something larger, something that could impact the entire galactic community. The implications of Valerius's words were clear. The Covenant's actions were not merely a matter of territorial dispute. They were a potential harbinger of a larger, more significant event. The Lumina Collective, a young civilization striving for harmony, was now thrust into a situation that could test their principles and challenge their very existence. After the transmission ended, Lyra gathered her senior staff on the bridge. The atmosphere was tense, the usual serenity replaced by a palpable sense of unease. We're walking into a trap, Lyra began, her voice firm, cutting through the silence. The Covenant has a reputation for finality. But we'll play their game. We will not be intimidated. Zephyr, plot every conceivable escape route. Xyler, prepare security protocols. We're going to need every advantage we can get. We will not be easy prey. Zephyr, his energy form flickering with renewed focus, began to analyze the star charts, searching for potential escape vectors. Xyler, his crystalline body resonating with a low, determined hum, initiated the ship's security protocols, reinforcing the energy shields and activating the defensive systems. The Stellaris, now bearing the weight of a perilous mission, set course for the Tribunal of Shards, venturing deep into the heart of Covenant space. The journey, a 3-standard cycle voyage, was a period of intense preparation and anxious anticipation. The crew, aware of the dangers that lay ahead, worked with a focused determination, their actions guided by a shared sense of purpose. The Lumina Collective, a beacon of harmony, was about to face the enigmatic power of the Obsidian Covenant, a confrontation that would test their principles and determine their fate. The summons was sent, and the journey began. The 3 standard cycles of travel toward the Tribunal of Shards were a period of intense, almost suffocating, anticipation. The Stellaris, its bioluminescent hull a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness of Covenant space, moved with a measured, deliberate pace. Each passing moment seemed to amplify the sense of unease that had settled over the crew. The silence was heavy, punctuated only by the soft hum of the ship's systems and the occasional, hushed communication between crew members. Lyra Kael, her luminous form casting a steady glow across the bridge, spent countless hours reviewing sensor data, analyzing the Covenant's message, and studying the star charts. She sought to understand the nature of the sacred zones and the veil of shadows, the alleged transgressions that had prompted the summons. However, the available information was sparse, fragmented, and often contradictory. The Covenant's territory, shrouded in secrecy and isolation, remained an enigma to the Lumina Collective and most of the galactic community. Zephyr, the navigation officer, his energy form flickering with a constant, nervous energy, spent hours meticulously plotting potential escape routes. The star charts near the Tribunal of Shards were unsettlingly chaotic, filled with anomalies and distortions that defied conventional astrophysics. Zephyr discovered that the star patterns were not merely random, they were systematically distorted, as if something was intentionally bending space-time itself. This discovery raised a profound sense of alarm. What kind of technology or power could manipulate the fabric of space itself? Xyler, the first officer, a hulking crystalline being, focused on reinforcing the Stellaris' security protocols. He meticulously calibrated the energy shields, ensuring maximum efficiency, and activated the ship's defensive systems, preparing for any potential hostile encounter. However, he also recognized the limitations of their defenses. The Covenant's technology, based on the manipulation of obsidian and violet energy, was unlike anything they had encountered. The effectiveness of their shields against such an unknown force was uncertain. As the Stellaris approached the Tribunal of Shards, the sensor readings became increasingly erratic. The space around them seemed to shimmer and distort, as if reality itself was fraying at the edges. The ship's systems, designed for the predictable laws of physics, struggled to process the anomalous data. The crew, accustomed to the harmonious flow of energy within their ship, felt a growing sense of disquiet, as if they were venturing into a realm where the rules of the universe were fundamentally different. Finally, the Stellaris emerged from FTL, revealing the Tribunal of Shards in all its imposing grandeur. The sight that greeted them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The Tribunal, a colossal structure of obsidian and violet energy, hung in the void like a dark, malevolent star. Its impossible architecture defied all known principles of construction, its angles sharp and unnatural, its surfaces pulsating with an eerie, violet glow. The structure stretched for kilometers, a testament to the Covenant's immense power and technological prowess. Surrounding the tribunal were numerous vessels, ships of various species, all bearing the stark, jagged mark of the Obsidian Covenant. They were silent observers, their forms casting long, ominous shadows against the backdrop of the tribunal's violet glow. The Lumina crew felt a chilling sense of isolation, as if they were being watched by countless eyes, their every move scrutinized by an unseen, all-powerful force. "Hails, Captain," Zephyr reported, his energy form flickering with renewed anxiety. "Multiple warnings. They say no Lumina vessel has ever returned from the tribunal." The warnings, delivered in a cold, impersonal tone, amplified the sense of dread that permeated the bridge. The Covenant's reputation for finality was not merely a rumor, it was a chilling reality. "Open a channel," Lyra commanded, her voice steady despite the apprehension swirling within her. A voice, deep and resonant, echoed through the bridge, emanating from the tribunal itself. "Lumina vessel. Proceed to docking bay Omega. The tribunal awaits." The voice, devoid of emotion, carried an air of absolute authority, leaving no room for negotiation or dissent. The Stellaris, its bioluminescent hull a beacon in the darkness, began its approach to the designated docking bay. As they neared the tribunal, a sleek, obsidian ship with razor-sharp edges intercepted them, cutting across their path with a swift, deliberate motion. The ship's crew, beings of pure, shifting obsidian, observed the Stellaris with cold, unreadable eyes. Their presence was a clear display of power, a subtle reminder of the Covenant's dominance. "Record everything," Lyra commanded, her voice firm. "From this moment, every interaction is documented." The Stellaris crew, aware of the gravity of the situation, meticulously recorded every detail, every sensor reading, every communication. They understood that their observations could be vital to the Lumina Collective, providing crucial insights into the Covenant's technology, behavior, and intentions. The docking bay doors, massive obsidian plates, slid open, revealing a dark, ominous interior. The darkness within seemed to absorb all light, casting an unsettling shadow over the Stellaris. "Take us in," Lyra ordered, her voice calm and resolute. "Slow and steady. Let's show them the Lumina Collective is not easily intimidated." The Stellaris, its bioluminescent hull a stark contrast to the obsidian darkness, entered the docking bay, moving with a measured, deliberate pace. The doors closed behind them, sealing their fate. The approach was complete, and the Stellaris was now within the grasp of the Obsidian Covenant. The ominous structure loomed around them, a testament to a power they were only beginning to comprehend. The Stellaris, now fully within the confines of the Tribunal's docking bay, was immediately enveloped in an oppressive darkness. The bioluminescent glow of its hull, once a symbol of life and exploration, now seemed a fragile beacon against the overwhelming obsidian black. The silence was profound, broken only by the soft hum of the ship's systems, a sound that now seemed strained and vulnerable. The docking clamps, obsidian tendrils that extended from the bay's walls, moved with a sudden, unexpected speed, seizing the Stellaris with brutal force. The entire ship shuddered under their grip, a violent tremor that resonated through the crew, a stark reminder of the Covenant's raw power. "Captain!" Xyler's voice came through the calm, his crystalline structure emitting a warning pulse. "Those aren't normal docking clamps. They've locked onto our hull like they never planned to let go. They're also scanning us. Deep scans, bypassing our energy shields." The clamps were not merely holding the Stellaris. They were actively probing it, their obsidian tendrils burrowing into the ship's systems, bypassing its defenses with an alarming ease. The Covenant was not merely receiving them, they were claiming them, exerting control with an unnerving efficiency. "Can they access our systems?" Lyra asked, her voice calm but firm. "Not yet," Xyler replied, his voice strained. "But they're trying. I've activated our highest security protocols." "Good. Keep monitoring," Lyra ordered, her mind racing, assessing the situation. The Stellaris was not merely docked, it was ensnared, trapped within the Covenant's grasp. The deep scans, penetrating their shields, were a clear violation of their autonomy, a blatant display of the Covenant's disregard for their sovereignty. Lyra turned to the security chief. "Prepare a welcome party. Standard diplomatic protocol, but I want everyone armed." The Lumina Collective, though not a warrior civilization, was not defenseless. They had energy-based defensive measures, tools designed for protection, not aggression. However, the Covenant's power was unlike anything they had encountered, and the effectiveness of their defenses remained uncertain. Before they could organize further, a message appeared on the main screen. The screen, usually a window to the cosmos, now displayed a stark, obsidian background, a symbol of the Covenant's control. "Captain Lyra Kael and senior officers." A voice resonated through the ship, the same cold, crystalline echo from the initial summons. "Will present themselves at the Chamber of Echoes. 1 hour. No energy weapons permitted." The message was not a request, it was a command. The Covenant was dictating the terms, asserting their authority with an unwavering resolve. The demand to disarm was a further attempt to assert dominance, stripping the Lumina crew of any semblance of defense. Lyra looked at her first officer, Xyler. "You're staying aboard. If anything happens to me—" "With respect, sir," Xyler interrupted, his voice firm. "The message specifically requested senior officers. All of us." Lyra wanted to argue, to maintain a degree of control, but she knew Xyler was right. The Covenant was already testing their obedience, their compliance. Refusal would be seen as defiance, and the consequences could be dire. "Fine," Lyra conceded. "Zephyr, Xyler, you're with me. Commander Taylor will have command of the ship." As they prepared to disembark, a new message arrived, an unexpected communication that added another layer of complexity to the already tense situation. "Captain!" A voice came through the comm, a Lumina voice, a voice Lyra recognized. "There's someone requesting to come aboard. Says he knows you." Lyra checked the external cameras and was surprised to see a familiar face, a figure from her past, a representative of the Lumina Collective. "Let him in," Lyra ordered, her mind racing, trying to understand the significance of this unexpected arrival. "I'll meet him at the airlock." Minutes later, Lyra greeted Envoy Lyra, a Lumina diplomat known for her wisdom and diplomatic prowess, but also for her hidden strength and sharp intellect. Lyra's presence was a surprise, a development that could either aid them or further complicate their situation. "Lyra," Lyra said, extending her hand, her light form casting a gentle radiance in the dark docking bay. "I wish we were meeting under better circumstances." "What are you doing here?" Lyra asked, her luminous form reflecting a mixture of surprise and apprehension. "When I heard the Stellaris was summoned, I requested permission to observe," Lyra explained. "The judges rarely allow it, but my position afforded some leverage." Lyra's presence was a relief, a sign that the Lumina Collective was not abandoning them. However, it also underscored the gravity of the situation. The Covenant's tribunal was a place of power and mystery, and Lyra's presence indicated that the Lumina Collective recognized the significance of what was unfolding. Lyra lowered her voice, her tone becoming more urgent. "Lyra, you need to understand what you're walking into. This isn't just a trial. It's theater. The outcome was likely decided before you arrived." Lyra's jaw tightened. "So why bother with the show?" "Legitimacy," Lyra replied. "The Covenant needs to maintain the illusion of fairness, to justify their actions. But you need to know." Lyra hesitated, her light form flickering slightly. "No species has ever left the Tribunal of Shards with their autonomy intact." The implications of Lyra's words were chilling. The Tribunal was not a place of justice, it was a place of dominance, a stage for the Covenant to assert their power. The Stellaris and its crew were not being judged, they were being used, pawns in a larger game. "So I've heard," Lyra replied, her voice firm, masking the unease she felt. "What about the evidence?" Xyler interjected, his crystalline voice resonating with concern. "Evidence matters less than politics." Lyra shook her head. "The Covenant has been a power in this sector for millennia. We are newcomers. They see us as a threat. Then what's your advice?" Lyra asked, seeking Lyra's guidance. "Be respectful, but not submissive," Lyra advised. "And be wary. The Covenant's power is vast, and their intentions are shrouded in mystery." The arrival of Envoy Lyra added a new dimension to the unfolding events. Her knowledge of the Covenant, and her warnings about the true nature of the Tribunal painted a grim picture. The Stellaris crew, now fully aware of the dangers that lay ahead, prepared to face the Obsidian Covenant, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that they were not alone, but also burdened by the chilling reality of their situation. The docking was complete, the messages received, and the stage was set for the encounter with the Obsidian Covenant. With Envoy Lyra's warnings echoing in their minds, Lyra, Zephyr, and Xyler, accompanied by Lyra, began their journey into the heart of the Tribunal of Shards. The corridor they entered was unlike any they had ever encountered. The obsidian walls pulsed with a faint, rhythmic light, creating an unsettling illusion of organic movement. The angles of the corridor defied Euclidean geometry, bending and twisting in ways that challenged the crew's spatial perception. The air itself seemed to vibrate with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of alien power that permeated every surface. The journey was a silent, tense procession. Each step took them deeper into the Tribunal's labyrinthine interior, a realm where the laws of physics seemed to bend to the Covenant's will. The crew, accustomed to the harmonious flow of energy within their own ship, felt a growing sense of unease, as if they were venturing into a realm where their understanding of the universe was fundamentally inadequate. Finally, they emerged into a vast chamber, a space that defied the exterior dimensions of the Tribunal. The ceiling rose hundreds of meters, disappearing into an impenetrable darkness, while the floor stretched out in a seemingly endless expanse. The chamber's architecture was a chaotic blend of sharp angles and smooth, obsidian surfaces, creating an environment that was both awe-inspiring and deeply unsettling. 7 massive thrones, carved from solid obsidian and adorned with intricate violet glyphs, formed a semicircle at the far end of the chamber. Each throne was occupied by a being of the Obsidian Covenant, their forms shifting and reforming, their eyes glowing with an intense, violet light. These were the judges, the arbiters of the tribunal, the embodiment of the Covenant's ancient power. Below the judges, hundreds of representatives from various species were seated, their forms casting long shadows in the chamber's dim light. They were silent observers, their eyes fixed on Lyra and her crew, their expressions a mixture of curiosity, hostility, and apprehension. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a sense of impending judgment that hung heavy in the air. A tall, thin being with translucent skin, standing before the judges, announced their arrival. The captain and officers of the human warship Stellaris. The being's voice echoed through the chamber, carrying an air of cold formality. Lyra, her luminous form casting a steady glow, led her crew to the center of the chamber, where they stood on a circular platform that glowed faintly beneath their feet. The platform seemed to resonate with the chamber's energy, amplifying the sense of unease. "You stand before the blood and sky judges," the announcer continued, his voice resonating with ancient authority. "The wisdom of ages, the balance of the cosmos, the final arbiters of galactic law." The central judge, unlike the others, was completely covered in ornate armor, a suit of obsidian and violet energy that concealed any hint of its true form. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once, a deep, resonant echo that filled the chamber. "Captain Lyra Kael," the judge began, its voice carrying an air of absolute certainty. "You are accused of violating neutral space during conflict with the Covenant, employing excessive force against retreating vessels, and demonstrating evolutionary unfitness for interstellar society." Lyra's head snapped up at the final charge. "Evolutionary unfitness? That wasn't in the summons." A ripple of murmurs spread through the watching crowd, a collective gasp that amplified the tension in the chamber. The accusation was not merely a legal charge. It was a fundamental challenge to the Lumina Collective's right to exist. "The judges may consider all relevant matters," a new voice echoed through the chamber. A tall, gray-skinned being with 6-fingered hands stepped forward, his form radiating an aura of cold intelligence. "I am Lord Xantar, the Covenant's chief prosecutor." Xantar's presence amplified the sense of unease. He was a being of immense power and influence, known for his ruthless efficiency and unwavering adherence to the Covenant's laws. "The Lumina Collective," Xantar began, his voice dripping with disdain. "A young, inexperienced species has dared to trespass upon the sacred zones, regions of space consecrated to the Covenant's ancient heritage. Your actions demonstrate a fundamental lack of respect for the Covenant's authority, a disregard for the sacred laws that have maintained order in this sector for millennia." Xantar proceeded to present evidence of the Stellaris' alleged transgressions, holographic simulations that depicted the Lumina vessel engaging in hostile actions against Covenant vessels. However, the simulations were clearly manipulated, distorted to portray the Lumina crew as aggressors. "These are fabrications," Lyra protested, her voice firm. "The Stellaris acted in self-defense. We were attacked without provocation." "Your protests are irrelevant," Xantar retorted, his voice cold and dismissive. "The Covenant's judgment is absolute. Your actions have violated the sacred zones, and you will be held accountable." The proceedings continued, a relentless barrage of accusations and distorted evidence. The Covenant judges, their forms shifting and reforming, observed the proceedings with an air of detached indifference. They were not seeking justice, they were asserting their dominance, demonstrating their power over the Lumina Collective. Envoy Lara, standing beside Lyra, observed the proceedings with a keen, analytical eye. She recognized the trial for what it was, a ritual, a performance designed to intimidate and subjugate. The Covenant was not seeking to understand the Lumina Collective, they were seeking to break them, to demonstrate their absolute authority. The atmosphere in the chamber grew increasingly tense, filled with a strange, pulsating energy that seemed to emanate from the obsidian structure itself. The crew of the Stellaris stood their ground, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that they were not merely fighting for themselves, they were fighting for the survival of their civilization. The Chamber of Echoes was not merely a courtroom, it was a battleground, a stage for a conflict that would determine the fate of the Lumina Collective. The Chamber of Echoes became a stage for a carefully orchestrated ritual, a performance designed to break the Lumina Collective's spirit and assert the Covenant's absolute dominance. Lord Xantar, the Covenant's chief prosecutor, continued his relentless barrage of accusations, his voice echoing through the chamber, each word dripping with disdain and calculated malice. The holographic simulations, distorted and manipulated, portrayed the Stellaris as a vessel of aggression, its crew as reckless and disrespectful of the Covenant's sacred laws. Xantar presented witness testimonies, holographic projections of beings from various species, their words twisted and fabricated to align with the Covenant's narrative. These testimonies painted the Lumina Collective as a threat to the established order, a disruptive force that needed to be contained. Lyra, her luminous form radiating a calm defiance, attempted to counter Xantar's accusations, presenting evidence of the Stellaris' peaceful intentions and the unprovoked attack that initiated the conflict. However, her words were met with cold indifference, her evidence dismissed as irrelevant. The Covenant judges, their forms shifting and reforming, observed the proceedings with an air of detached amusement, their eyes glowing with an unsettling, violet light. "Your attempts to justify your actions are futile," Xantar sneered, his voice echoing through the chamber. "The Covenant's judgment is absolute. Your actions have violated the sacred zones, and you will be held accountable." The proceedings were not a trial in the conventional sense, they were a ritual, a performance designed to demonstrate the Covenant's power and the Lumina Collective's helplessness. The judges were not seeking to understand the truth, they were seeking to break the Lumina crew, to force them to acknowledge the Covenant's absolute authority. Envoy Lara, standing beside Lyra, observed the proceedings with a keen, analytical eye. She recognized the subtle manipulations, the carefully crafted distortions, the calculated psychological warfare. The Covenant was not merely seeking to punish the Lumina Collective, they were seeking to subjugate them, to strip them of their autonomy and their dignity. The atmosphere in the chamber grew increasingly oppressive. The strange, pulsating energy that emanated from the obsidian structure intensified, creating a sense of disorientation and unease. The air itself seemed to vibrate with an unseen force, a tangible manifestation of the Covenant's power. "The Lumina Collective," Xantar continued, his voice dripping with condescension. "A young, inexperienced species, dares to challenge the ancient laws that have maintained order in this sector for millennia. Your actions are a testament to your arrogance, your lack of respect for the established order." He then began to focus on the charge of evolutionary unfitness, a concept that sent a chill through the Lumina crew. Xantar presented arguments that the Lumina's energy-based biology and their reliance on symbiotic technology were signs of inherent weakness, a lack of the necessary resilience to survive in the harsh realities of interstellar space. "Your reliance on fragile energy fields and symbiotic relationships," Xantar declared, "makes you vulnerable to the forces of the cosmos. You are a delicate species, ill-equipped to navigate the challenges of the galaxy. The Covenant, with its mastery of obsidian and violet energy, represents the pinnacle of evolutionary adaptation." The accusation was a fundamental challenge to the Lumina Collective's identity, a declaration that they were inherently inferior, unworthy of their place in the galactic community. The judges, their forms shifting and reforming, observed the proceedings with an air of detached interest, their eyes glowing with an unsettling, violet light. The crew of the Stellaris felt a growing sense of despair. They were trapped, ensnared in the Covenant's web, their voices silenced, their evidence dismissed. The ritual of judgment was not a pursuit of justice, it was a display of power, a demonstration of the Covenant's absolute control. Envoy Lara, however, remained calm, her light form radiating a steady, unwavering glow. She recognized the Covenant's tactics, the calculated manipulation, the psychological warfare. She knew that the judges were not seeking to understand the Lumina Collective, They were seeking to break them, to force them to acknowledge the Covenant's absolute authority. As the ritual continued, the strange, pulsating energy in the chamber intensified, creating a sense of disorientation and unease. The crew of the Stellaris felt a growing sense of dread, a premonition of impending doom. The Obsidian grip was tightening, and the Lumina Collective was being drawn into the Covenant's abyss. The ritual of judgment reached its crescendo. Lord Xantar, his voice resonating with triumphant malice, delivered the Covenant's verdict. "The Lumina Collective," he declared, "has been found guilty of transgressing the sacred zones, demonstrating evolutionary unfitness, and challenging the Covenant's authority. By the ancient laws of the Tribunal, you are hereby condemned to submit to the Covenant's dominion." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, a mix of triumphant cries and hushed whispers. The Covenant judges, their forms shifting and reforming, radiated an aura of absolute power, their violet eyes glowing with an unsettling intensity. The strange, pulsating energy in the chamber reached a fever pitch, creating a sense of overwhelming oppression. Envoy Lyra, however, stepped forward, her light form radiating an unwavering glow, her voice cutting through the din. "This is not justice," she declared, her voice firm and resolute. "This is a charade, a ritual designed to assert dominance, not to seek truth." Her words hung in the air, a defiant challenge to the Covenant's authority. The judges, their forms shifting, turned their attention to Lyra, their violet eyes glowing with a cold, predatory light. "You dare to question the judgment of the Tribunal?" Xantar hissed, his voice dripping with venom. "I dare to expose your lies," Lyra retorted. "The Covenant claims to uphold ancient laws, but you twist and manipulate them to serve your own agenda. You claim to represent the pinnacle of evolution, but you rely on fear and intimidation to maintain your power." Lyra then revealed the hidden knowledge she had gathered, information gleaned from ancient Lumina texts and clandestine observations. She exposed the Covenant's true motives, not justice, but subjugation. The Covenant sought to control the Lumina Collective, to strip them of their autonomy and their identity, to add them to their collection of subservient species. She also revealed the true nature of the space-time distortions that Zephyr had detected. The Tribunal of Shards was not merely a structure, it was a weapon, a device capable of manipulating the fabric of reality itself. The Covenant used this power to enforce their will, to bend the universe to their design. The revelation sent shockwaves through the chamber. The observing species, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and awe, recoiled from the Covenant's unveiled power. The Lumina crew, their spirits rekindled by Lyra's defiance, stood their ground, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that they were not alone. "You cannot silence the truth," Lyra declared, her voice resonating with power. "The Lumina Collective will not submit. We will not be broken." Lyra, her luminous form radiating a defiant glow, stepped forward, her voice echoing through the chamber. "The Covenant claims to represent the pinnacle of evolution," she said, "but true strength lies not in domination, but in resilience. We are a species of light, of harmony, of interconnectedness. And we will not be extinguished." The chamber erupted in chaos. The Covenant judges, their forms shifting and reforming, unleashed their power, the violet energy within them surging, warping reality around them. The Tribunal itself began to pulse with an ominous light, its obsidian surfaces radiating an intense, destructive energy. The crew of the Stellaris, their energy fields flaring, prepared to defend themselves. They were outnumbered, outgunned, but they were not outmatched. They had the strength of their convictions, the power of their unity, and the knowledge that they were fighting for their survival. Zephyr, his energy form flickering with renewed focus, began to manipulate the chamber's energy fields, disrupting the Covenant's control over the space-time distortions. Xyler, his crystalline body resonating with power, activated the Stellaris' defensive systems, redirecting the ship's energy to create a shield around the Lumina crew. The battle raged, a clash of light and darkness, of freedom and oppression. The Lumina crew, their energy forms radiating a defiant glow, fought with a ferocity born of desperation. The Covenant judges, their forms shifting and reforming, unleashed their full power, their violet energy warping reality, creating a maelstrom of chaos. The fate of the Lumina Collective hung in the balance. The Chamber of Echoes, once a symbol of the Covenant's power, became a battleground, a stage for a conflict that would determine the future of the galaxy. The illusions were shattered, the Covenant's true face was revealed, and the Lumina Collective stood defiant, their light a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness.